Sis, let me ask you something. Are you waking up tired every morning? No matter how much you sleep, you're snappy, guilty, and holding it together for everybody else but you, and oftentimes find yourself wondering, is it ADHD? Is it depression? Shoot, am I just stressed? Or maybe I'm just not enough. Sis, let me tell you something. If that's you, you're not alone. Hi, I'm Dr. DeeDee Wednesday, therapist, mommy, and motivator. And if you're looking for a cozy space where we talk about real life, real healing, and real struggles, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button because you don't want to miss out on this wonderful little community that we're building. Okay, girl, if all that resonates with you, come on in, pull up a chair, and let's get into it. And before we dive all the way in, let me go ahead and give you a little lesson plan for today's video. We're going to talk about depression in women. We're also going to talk about how that relates to ADHD, also in women, and why both of those things really matter for us. And lastly, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my own experience. So, like I said, let's get into it. Depression for women doesn't always look like crying in bed. It doesn't always look like being super sad all the time. For us, it's subtle, and it hides behind our busy schedules. It hides behind our titles: mom, wife, coworker, friend, boss. And more importantly, most of the time our depression is hiding behind our smiles because we're masking. We're pretending to be okay, but most of the time we don't even know we're doing it because that's what masking is. We're just going, like society has taught us to do, to just keep going. And as women, we've gotten really good at that. We've gotten really good at just keeping going. But while we're going, let's talk about some signs and symptoms that present themselves specifically in women when it comes to depression. Number one, irritability and mood swings. Instead of sadness, most women feel short-tempered, easily angered, very frustrated, and super snappy. It can look like being angry at your kids, your partner, or sometimes even yourself. But the truth is, deep down inside, it's depression. Number two, changes in appetite. Now girl, this one is a big one for me, just like it's a big one for most of us, because the truth is a lot of women find comfort in food, and we find ourselves eating more than usual, especially when we're having big feelings, while some of our sisters lose their appetite altogether. And while both of these things might be different, they're both signs and symptoms of depression, but far too often they get brushed off as stress eating or dieting struggles. People think that we're just on a diet when the whole time we've lost our complete appetite. Let me rephrase that. You've lost your complete appetite. I don't lose my appetite. My problem is I overeat. And I can always tell when I'm feeling a little more depressed because all of a sudden I start feeling a little more fluffy. And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes that will trigger more depression. Number three, sleep struggles. Depression in women oftentimes disrupts our sleep. We toss, we turn all night with racing thoughts, while others can sleep 10 hours, wake up, and still feel exhausted like they haven't gotten any sleep. Why is that? Because the whole time you're sleeping, you're not resting. Your mind is going. Your body is tired. Your mind is tired. So even when you've gotten some sleep, it's almost like you've gotten no sleep. So whether you're tossing and turning or going to sleep at night and still being exhausted, because your mind is tired, you're tired. And that makes it extremely hard to get anything done. And when we find ourselves in that cycle of not getting things done, it only sometimes makes us more sad and more depressed and puts us into this scary cycle of wanting to do something, not having the energy to do it, not being able to do it, feeling guilty because we can't do it, and then just not doing it at all. And then on and round until sometimes we do find ourselves in bed. Number four, guilt and self-criticism. And this one hits women hard. We feel like we're failing at work, at motherhood, at housekeeping, at everything, especially our relationships. Shoot, even when we're doing more than enough, it never really feels like enough. And that little self-blame that you hear in the back of your head, that's one of the loudest signs of depression. And that can oftentimes lead us to feeling hopeless. And let me just say this, feeling hopeless is a very slippery slope, sis. One that once we start to slide down, it's really hard to get back up. Hard, but not impossible. especially when you have community, especially when you have support. Number 5, physical aches and pains. I'm not sure if you guys are old enough to remember that old commercial when there was a cartoon walking around saying, "Depression hurts." Well, it wasn't a lie. It's quite true. For women specifically, depression can lead to physical pain. It's a physical manifestation of our feelings in our body. We oftentimes experience this as headaches, back pains, and even tummy troubles. The kind of tummy issues that a probiotic girl, that ain't gonna fix it. And because these physical aches and pains are actually associated with our depression, when we go to the doctor complaining about the headaches, the backaches, and the stomach aches, and they run all these tests and find nothing, it oftentimes leaves us feeling confused. And then oftentimes we get dismissed because people either think we're making it up, we're being dramatic, or it's not that big of a deal. When the whole time, I can feel it. It's hurting. It's bothering me. It's a big deal to me. Number 6, masking and perfectionism. Now this one is a sneaky one because even when something just isn't right with us, far too many of us keep pushing and even overperforming like nothing is going on and like everything is fine. But the whole time on the inside, we're falling apart. Because depression in women oftentimes hides behind this mask or this persona that society tells us that we have to be superwoman. So even when we don't feel like superwoman, we mask and pretend like we do. We keep going, we keep overperforming and creating more stress for ourselves. Okay, now here's where it gets complicated. Because ADHD and depression can oftentimes overlap or look very similar. And so many of us find ourselves either misdiagnosed or only diagnosed with one of the two things when far too often both of the things are present. Let's compare the symptoms that are present in both ADHD and depression for women, but also have very distinctive differences. Let's talk about it so we can also understand and differentiate, okay? Number 1, trouble focusing. Now, when it comes to ADHD, you're having trouble focusing because your brain is jumping from one thought, one idea to the next, and you're getting easily distracted. But when it comes to depression, you're having trouble focusing because you're experiencing mental fog. You're wanting to focus, but the heaviness that you're experiencing in your mood is just making it hard to concentrate. See the difference? Number 2, low motivation. When it comes to ADHD, low motivation is caused by our difficulty prioritizing and following through. However, when it comes to depression, the low motivation comes from a lack of energy and a loss of interest, even in things that we love. Number 3, feeling overwhelmed in life. For women with ADHD, this comes from having too many moving parts and struggling to organize them. While women who are dealing with depression are struggling with overwhelm, but it's because of the weight of the sadness and that exhaustion that we were talking about before. And that exhaustion just makes it hard to get things done. Number 4, struggling with consistency. We're all dealing with that. ADHD, depression, or even a combination. The struggle with consistency is real, sis. In ADHD, inconsistency comes from being quite forgetful and having unfinished projects all around. Because our attention shifts so quickly, we have a hard time following through with things, which leads to our inconsistency. But when it comes to depression, inconsistency comes from being withdrawn, from that lack of energy and interest that we talked about before. In this case, that lack of interest, it causes us to cancel our plans, to kind of be a little bit flaky, to withdraw from even people that we love and want to be around. We still find ourselves kind of keeping our distance because we've lost any drive to really stay engaged. And here's the kicker. Women with ADHD are 3 times more likely to also experience depression. Why? Because after years of unmet expectations, missed deadlines, and feeling different from most of our lives, that creates shame and guilt. And shame and guilt is a breeding ground for depression. So even if it wasn't there before, having untreated or undiagnosed ADHD as women can far too often lead to depression. So why does all this matter? It matters because as women, the expectation for us is way up here. We're expected to do it all. We're expected to constantly perform and have it all together. We're expected to juggle everything: career, family, friends, relationships. We're expected to do it all. They expect us to cook, clean, and run Fortune 500 companies every single day. And they want us to do it with a smile. And because we have a hard time disappointing people, we try. And that pressure to hold it all together, the masking of perfectionism, it makes it really hard for doctors, our partners, and sometimes even us to really spot what's going on. And so it gets missed. Our symptoms, our struggles, our hardships get missed. And instead of being able to communicate that we're struggling with ADHD or that we're struggling with depression, we just continue to push through. The problem is we will do that until our bodies and our minds tell us to stop, until our bodies and our minds say no more. When we find ourselves in positions or predicaments that we can't get out of because now it's too late. Things have hit the fan. Things have gotten too bad and we don't know what to do. And this happens to far too many of us. Things get out of hand because we don't even know that they're ever in hand. We don't know what's going on with us. Other people have no idea what's going on with us because their expectation for us is that nothing ever will go wrong with us. And if I'm honest, sometimes we do it to ourselves. Because instead of saying that we're struggling with ADHD or that we're struggling with depression, we feel guilty. We blame ourselves. And instead of asking for help, things get worse. And I don't want that for you. I don't want that for me. I don't want that for our community. Things are hard enough for us as women. This is something that we can get a hold of, or at least have a better understanding of, so that when we go see our doctors, when we go see our therapists, we can communicate what we're experiencing, because now we have an understanding of what we're experiencing. And so that's why it matters. It matters because you matter, because I matter. We matter. And this is where it gets a little personal for me. As someone who is diagnosed with both ADHD and depression, it's been hard. I've experienced a lot of guilt and a lot of shame throughout my life, especially as a high achiever. I am someone who likes to check the boxes. I like to get it done. I like the applause. I like the claps. I like to succeed. And so when I'm experiencing symptoms as they relate to either my ADHD or my depression, or sometimes both, I have just continued to push forward until I find myself in a really scary place. A place that has been hard for me over the years to really get out of and dig myself out of. But we shouldn't have to do that. We shouldn't have to dig ourselves out. We should have the support of other people, of professionals, of the people that we're in relationship with to help us. And sometimes we do. We just struggle to say that we need help. I'll give you one better. Sometimes I struggle to say that I need help. Ooh. We're not going to cry. We're not going to cry, okay? But I know that this is not just a struggle that I have, because I'm not that unique. If this is something that I'm experiencing, I know my sisters are experiencing it too. But we want to be perfect. We want people to think that we have it all together, that we're smart and beautiful and charming and this and that. And it's true, we are all of those things. But we're having a hard time, girl. We are having a hard time. And I had to tell someone. I had to get some help. And I don't want that for you. I want better for you. So here I am, making another video for us so that we can have better. So if you're anything like me and you're in a place in your life where you don't know what's going on, you don't know if it's ADHD, you don't know if it's depression, you don't know if it's something else, I want you to know that you don't have to figure that out alone. You don't have to struggle alone. Talk to someone. Find a mental health provider, one with a license, one with a license who can help you get through this. And if you're having a hard time finding someone in your area, girl, let me know. I will help you find someone. I don't know all the therapists all over the world, but I do know how to find you a good one if you want to, because I want you to. I want you to have support, even if that support is not me all the time, because you deserve it. You deserve to live a healthy life with healthy healing. Okay, girl, if this video spoke to you like it spoke to me, sometimes I make videos for you and they're really for me as well. But if this video resonates with you, please do me a favor and like it, leave me a comment, and please don't forget to subscribe, because that helps me more than you know. It helps our channel, it helps our little community grow larger and reach other women that need the support of this community, because we all deserve that. And as always, I love you. And I hope you have an amazingly blessed day. Mwah. Bye. I'm looking for, yeah, it's that bird in the VIP.